Hey everyone, me Kevin here. So the big Apple event is coming up within the next 24 hours, and a lot of folks are wondering, should we buy Apple stock? Should we sell Apple stock, or should we just sit on the sidelines before the event? And what about after the event? And hey, wait a minute, what's just gonna happen to the tech stock sector overall after the Apple event? Because sometimes all it takes is a little bit of poop and the entire market comes trending down a bit. And after all, since the market has been trending up for the last couple weeks here after September lows, well, you wonder where that next little prick to that bubble is gonna be. But anyway, in this video, I'd like to run down some of the expectations that we have for tomorrow's event, and then I'm going to funnel these all down into some bottom line conclusions about what we should do regarding Apple stock. Keep in mind, Apple stock is my third largest holding. I love me the Apple stock, following Amazon and Tesla, so I'm super excited to see the event tomorrow, though my expectations, well, I guess you'll find out in just a few minutes. But of course, make sure to get your life insurance that you can get in as little as 5 minutes. You could Apple Pay for it down below, and you could Android Pay for it. And make sure to get 2 completely free stocks with Webull. If you want to trade after hours for tomorrow's event, you want to make sure you got a platform you could trade after hours with, and Webull lets you trade for pretty major extended hours. You could trade for 4 hours after the market closes, which is awesome. And you could trade as early as 4 a.m. Eastern time using Webull. All right, so let's get started. The event tomorrow is expected to be the iPhone 12 launch event, and this was separated from the Apple Watch event. This iPhone event is coming in with major hype, and it is expected to feature a 5G-enabled smartphone, possibly as many as 4 new smartphones for faster internet on the go. Analysts are comparing tomorrow's launch to basically have the same potential or power that we saw with the 2014 larger screen event, basically where they finally went to larger screen iPhones. They were one of the last to do it. And when they did, Apple sales surged 52% following the next 12 months just with the iPhone market. And this could also potentially rival the 2017 run that we had with Apple revenues following Apple's introduction of higher priced models and Face ID in 2017, which that's the weird thing about Apple. The price goes up, here's a new feature, and boom, great sales. But some people actually say it's more than just what they're releasing. It has to do with a larger Apple upgrade cycle. Some believe that Apple's main upgrade cycle is every 3 years, and that kind of makes sense. 2014, then we saw a big run up in 2017. Well, here we are, 2020. And statistically, 40% of iPhone users have not upgraded their phone in the last 3.5 years. And this is leading some analysts to say and predict this is going to be a potential super cycle of upgrades, leading to years of revenue growth, and not just for the phone, but also for Apple's new subscription services, which are coming with massive hype, because as they say on their website, you can now bundle up for an individual, family, or Premier plan, where on the Premier, for $29.95 per month, you could have Apple Fitness, 2 terabytes of iCloud storage, Apple Arcade, Apple News, Apple TV, and Apple Music, all included for up to 6 family members. And a lot of people believe this incredible value offered in just this one monthly package for up to 6 people is a bargain for users and going to be explosive for Apple, especially as they introduce this next phone cycle and more people potentially look at new features they could use with their new phone. Which, let me be real about this, every time I get a new phone, the first thing I do is I go look for new apps and new things to do on it, even if they've already been around for months. So, Apple might have a point there, or maybe the analysts have a point there. Anyway, tomorrow's also Prime Day, which is just sort of a side note, but it's kind of funny that Prime Day was announced tomorrow, or for tomorrow, October 13th, and Apple chose to hold their event on the same day. Some are saying that was done purposefully by Apple to kind of steal some thunder from Amazon. But anyway, there is a ton of hype for this 5G phone. And really, I have to say, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of stuck at home using Wi-Fi all the time. But in the meantime, we are expecting 4 new phones. And despite the fact that Apple has ramped up 50% in its stock price year to date, people are jumping up and down for this. People are like, Samsung had their 5G event. Wasn't that great, but you know what? Maybe Apple's will be even better. So right now, all eyes are on Apple, and this is what we're expecting in terms of products. We've got a potential of 4 new models. Here they are on screen. We've got a potential iPhone 12 mini for $699. This is leaked information, so this has not been confirmed yet, but will be confirmed within the next 24 hours. We've got an iPhone 12 Max at 6.1 inches. The mini would be 5.4 inches, $799 for the iPhone 12 Max. iPhone 12 Pro would come in at just under $1,000. And then at $1,100, we have an iPhone Pro Max, which might be between 6.6 and 6.7 inches. The current largest phone from Apple is the iPhone Pro Max, which is the version 11 at 6.5 inches for a screen. And remember, that's a diagonal measurement. So we might get a tiny bit of a screen increase here. There are also indications that the Pro version might actually include LiDAR on their cameras or some sort of feature, so that way you have better augmented reality on your phone, probably for gaming or maybe even taking measurements just that much better. Watch out, Tesla. All right, then we potentially have 2 new colors for the phone. We're thinking not a Nancy blue, we're thinking a navy blue, or an orange, which you see in the Apple invitation, sort of a potential hint. We've also got a rumor that suggests maybe we might see an AirPods Studio. These are going to be Apple's over-the-ear headphones. There we go, over-the-ear, spelled correctly. And maybe even AirTags, so that way you can put a tag on your keychain or other small things that you keep losing around your house, and you could just ping them with your phone, which is probably similar to what they have with the iPhone and the Apple Watch right now, which I personally really like having the Apple Watch just for that reason. So I can always find my phone. It always ends up between the couch cushions. Potentially a cheaper HomePod, which is currently $299, which is supposed to compete with the Alexa, but come on, you could get like the little Alexa for like $49. And to sort of evidence this, Apple has already pulled Sonos speakers off their shelves as well as other third-party material, other like speakers and so on from their shelves, potentially to make room for this newer product. I personally am putting this note in here. I really think Apple ought to come out with some bigger iCloud storage, especially if they're trying to get more and more people into this sort of iCloud suite. We need more than 2 terabytes. I mean, now we've got 4K cameras. These things load up with data very, very quickly. The Apple Fitness Suite, by the way, is coming in late 2020, and this is really expected to give Peloton a run for its money. At $9.99 per month, it comes in at the fraction of the cost of the $40, I think it's $39.99 per month Peloton subscription fee. And this will work with bike workouts, kickboxing. You could use it on your watch, your iPad, your TV. You could share it with up to 5 family members. So 5 family members can get it for $9.99 per month. It's not bad. Coming in late 2020. This will also probably be a big driver for Apple Watch sales. The Apple Watch is really becoming a fitness tool. Certainly, that's Apple's attempt to get into the fitness market. Now, here we go. So all of this excitement, all of these new potential products are leading to comments like this. Dan Ives says this is a once-in-a-decade type of upgrade opportunity. I don't think that's going to age very well. Daniel Morgan says the latest iPhone launches have felt more like ripples as opposed to wave, and we need a wave. Okay, dude. Mr. Strukkel says the vast majority of those getting in line are going to be, this is 5G. I need this. Dude, like, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like I wouldn't say that. Like, I don't know. Okay, whatever. Then you've got somebody else here saying, this will kick off a significant replacement cycle, which we believe will be a multi-year process. I don't know, sometimes I feel like these analysts are just trying to justify to their shareholders why they have so much Apple stock. It's a safe stock, okay? It's a relatively safe stock to own. But then again, you do have Jeff over from AT&T, Jeff McElfresh from AT&T, saying that this will actually not be a massive event. In fact, we have 3 different varieties of 5G, and this is something that's actually pretty important. You've got ultra wideband here. You know what? It's actually really easier if I just show this to you on the iPad here. Let's just pull it up right here, so that way you can follow along. So we've got ultra wideband 5G, also known as low band. And this operates on the 500 megahertz band, and this is really good for penetrating buildings. And I think of this as, being able to send the cell data over multiple city blocks. Think about like penetrating walls and actually getting the data where you need it. AT&T, T-Mobile are expected to use this. Nationwide 5G is what they're calling this. But the problem is, this is actually not like really much faster. CNBC calls this closer to 4th generation LTE speeds. So it's kind of like, meh, cool, you labeled it 5G, but it's really not. Then you've got high frequency 5G, and then you've got millimeter wave 5G. And when it comes to high frequency, think about city block wide. And when you think millimeter wave, it's so limited on distance. Think super close, like within a house or two. And so really, for us to actually maximize this 5G penetration, we would probably have to see Apple announce some support not only for low band, but also high frequency here. And then we'd actually have to have the infrastructure, which we're not quite sure yet if AT&T and T-Mobile and Verizon and all these other companies are actually going to be able to provide the speeds that the phone might be capable of. This might be one of those examples where, oh, yay, I'm in New York to visit Times Square and cool, look at my fast internet. But day to day, you're like, meh, still on LTE. And so there are a lot of people scratching their heads about why are we being so enthusiastic about this again? Anyway, the average expectation on Wall Street is that iPhone revenue will bump 15% this year. That is starting October 1st, the beginning of their fiscal year, through the year. So with all of this, what's our strategy for the stock? The beautiful thing when it comes to the Apple iPhone is the Apple iPhone pushes services sales for, well, like we talked about, fitness or music and so on. But it also makes up over 56% of all of the revenue that Apple makes from products. The iPhone is the entry point for everything. So if the average expectation is 15% in sales growth over the next year, then it wouldn't be unreasonable for us to think that Apple could grow at a clip of 12 to 13% if they keep their expenses the same. With this, over the next 2 years, Apple will still be a phenomenal investment. But folks, here's the problem. Even if I put in a blended 12% growth rate for Apple over all of their products and services over the next 2 years, I still get a company that in order to see some realistic growth needs to be valued at a 50 times earnings multiple. That is for Apple to be worth $161 by the end of 2022, we have to value Apple with 12% growth at 50 times earnings. I think that's a little lofty. I think it's a little bit of a reach. So for me, I would much rather than buying Apple at 126, 128, 130, I think that's too high. Rather than buy it there, I would much rather get into Apple around some weakness. I'd rather buy Apple under 110. If I can get Apple under 100, I would be much more grateful. But even last month when we had weakness in the market, we weren't able to get Apple under anything less than $103 per share. So if tomorrow ends up being one of those days where it's like, yay, buy the rumor, the stock shot up, sell the news because, well, that was a dud, then ideally, Apple should be a buy somewhere under $110 per share. That's when I'd be interested in buying Apple a little bit more heavily, unless there was some broader market weakness. Now, if it's at 115, maybe would I nibble a little bit? Sure, I've done that before, but that's my expectation for Apple. I can't keep buying once it's over 115. It's just too expensive for me personally. Now, in fairness, I will buy Apple as sort of a broader portfolio. And in a case like that, yeah, sometimes I'm buying Apple over 115. But for buying Apple individually, I'm going to be a little bit more cautious here. And remember, it's my third biggest holding, so I'm excited about Apple long run, but I think the expectations here are a little too high. Now, I will say CNBC Pro, the Pro edition, the one you have to pay for, tells us that in the 6 months following any iPhone launch, Apple has consistently outperformed the S&P with smaller losses in down periods and bigger gains during growth periods. And I believe this. However, shortly after Apple release events, Apple stock has a tendency of falling. It wouldn't be a shocker for us to see exactly what happened with Tesla's battery day happen to Apple, where we get this great new product, we get this great new announcement, but Wall Street says, yeah, that's not as great as we were expecting. We were expecting Steve Jobs to come up from the dead and introduce the iPhone 20 that has teleportation. And since that's how hypey the market tends to be, it would not shock me to see Apple on sale after the event tomorrow. So if you wake up tomorrow and decide, okay, maybe I'll add later, I wouldn't blame you. But I could be wrong. I'm not a prophet. That's just my opinion. I believe, just looking historically, we're probably going to see a softer reaction to the Apple market. And here's the exact way to play this, in my opinion. I don't want to tell anybody to go buy or sell or buy options. Instead, here's how I would play this. If Apple falls under 110, maybe under 115 tomorrow after the event, buy. You can't go wrong buying Apple, in my opinion. And honestly, even if you buy it at 125, 130, in the long run, you're probably still going to be okay. I'm just personally not interested in taking money that I could use in other opportunities at a price that's that lofty for Apple. In the long run, still holding a lot of Apple. So I can't say I'm an Apple bear, but I will say I'm only buying if we get a nice little dip tomorrow. And keep in mind what happened after both Battery Day and the stock split for Apple and Tesla. The entire tech sector was sort of dragged down after Wall Street's like, I guess tech isn't as great as I thought it was. All these young kids. Yeah. That just seems to be my impression of what Wall Street sounds like these days. And so it wouldn't surprise me to see some weakness. Anyway, that's my recap. I will be getting the iPhone 12. I have enjoyed the iWatch 6, although honestly I can't tell a difference between the 6 and the 4, but I guess I'm whipped. We'll see you in the next video. Get your 2 free stocks, get your life insurance. Check out the programs down below where I teach you everything that I know about real estate investing, stock investing, and of course, do-it-yourself property management and rental renovations. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye.